All right, today we're going to just briefly talk about and mention some scenarios that happen with numbers when you have a 0 point and you're measuring distance either through temperature or through elevation or sea level. Some of the scenarios we talked about in class where you're having to add information from one side of the zero to the other side. And there's a whole nother lesson on that coming up. We'll get to that later. Let's take a quick look. Let me share screen. Yes, clicked, click, click. All right, this is a slide we looked at the other day. And it's a whole new lesson plan. There'll be another whole video on this topic with some vocabulary words and some math symbols so we understand what we're talking about. For the time being, you can kind of logically understand this. If somebody were on a mountaintop and they went all the way from the top to the bottom, but then they also went down into the cave and somebody said, what's the total distance they traveled? Okay, well, it's 7,000 to get to the bottom and then another 750. Well, sometimes some people get confused and they're like, yeah, but the 750 is negative because you're going underground. And then that negative sign makes them subtract 750. And then all of a sudden they only went 6,250 feet. And it's like, that's not even all the way down the mountain. That doesn't make sense. So logically, if you have a picture, you can understand this. And I'm going to draw a picture in a moment real quick. But this is something when we talk about distance, we don't say negative distances usually when we're totaling distance. So, and here's another one. So somebody dives off of a cliff. It's just 35 feet. I've been off taller than that, so that's not horrible. 35 feet, and when they hit the water, let's say they went 13 feet below sea level, okay? As they splashed in, and then they swim back up to the top, okay? And they say, how many feet total did they descend from the top of the cliff or whatever, okay? So then when you do total distance, even though 13 feet is below sea level, some people would circle that keyword and make that a minus. 35 minus 13, and then they would say, oh, so they only fell 25 feet, or 22 feet. And they're not really thinking about the situation, and they just do the math. And that, in essence, if they jumped off the cliff and they went, I can't show my hand, it keeps disappearing, they would stop in midair at so many feet above the water? No, they're going the whole 35 feet and another 13 feet underwater. Okay, so the grand total distance is 48. Okay, and now same thing with temperature. I love that temperature. It's a great one because we have thermometers, which is basically like a number line. Okay, and so now it's not as common down here, but up in the north, I'm from Indiana originally, 45 degrees could be a daytime temperature in early, mid, late winter, depending on where you're at. And overnight, it can drop and get a lot colder, okay? Below zero, okay? So let's look at this. I'll stop sharing for a moment. If you look at this thermometer behind me, you could be in the positives. And I said, how much total did the temperature drop? Well, it dropped some whatever, 40 something. And then it went some under. So the grand total, you have to add them both together, okay? That's the gist of what I want to remind you, is that you have to add those things, okay, when they ask for the total distance of something. We'll do more examples in class, but that's it for now. Thank you all.